Hi, I'm Okira Banks, costume designer, and stylist to the stars. The fashion industry is more than who's wearing what. It's attitude, personality, and a lifestyle. It's a vibe. And in the Style Lounge, we get into it all. Your favorite guys and girls will sit on my couch and share their real stories as it pertains to their connection with fashion and how it shapes their work and life. And I want you to join us. Welcome to the Style Lounge. Get comfortable. Get comfortable. Hey guys, it's your girl Okira Banks, and welcome to the Style Lounge. Today, our guest is going to be a really great friend of mine, an amazing designer. He is the creative and designer and co-founder of this amazing line called Magnus Alpha. Incredible men's collection. So, while we're getting ready for that, there's some things that I needed to do because I work in between while I work, right? You're about to watch me get a few orders done. Right now, what's been selling really like hotcakes during this time is the swag halter jumpers. So this is one in coral, and I'm gonna have my assistant, Julie, help me out. But yeah, this is a part of the plan. You know, we inspect, and before I even get them in my hands, they're steamed because we're in COVID. So for all of you people who be wondering where their orders are, I wanna make sure we're taking the proper precaution. And the proper precaution is that we steam them first, then I fold them because heat kills anything. And I just want to make sure you guys are safe. We are social distancing though, and we then tested it. So anyhow, I don't want to hear y'all say why she ain't wearing her mask. Boom. Anyhow, let me get into it. you know, we're all pivoting in this season. If you guys notice, I've been doing more pre-orders on the website just to make sure that even I, as the business is growing, that I'm conscientious about what I'm making and having access. And yes, when I work, I like to wear my OTG tank top. It makes me feel good. You can check it out on the website, and part of the proceeds goes to Black Design Collective. So please check that out. We have a lot of designers that have been already hurting, and they're really hurting. Some of them are no longer in business, and you know, whatever I can do to support my neighbor, that's what I'll do. Thank you. So yeah, you know, I like to inspect everything. I have my scissors near so that I can catch anything that, for any little strings, like I see something here that I'll more than likely cut. And then I just noticed, ta-da, damage. There's a nice little hole right here, right there. Now, I can't sell that, so I might just fix that girl up, give it to a friend, a cousin, or someone if they want it. But if they don't want it, maybe I'll wear it around the house. So that's that. With that being said, I'm gonna finish doing this. So check out the website, OTG Essentials. Until then, I'm about to get ready to meet with my guy, Hommy Diaz. He's gonna be an amazing guest today. I hope you like it. So I have my good friend, amazing designer, Hommy Diaz in the Style Lounge. Hommy Diaz is the creative designer and co-founder of Magnus Alpha. Welcome to the Style Lounge, Hommy.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this for a minute.
It's all good. It's been worth the wait.
Yeah, you've been in Europe, where were you? You went for like 9 months or 8 months?
No, I was in Milan for a little over a month, and then that was end of last year, and then I went back to Milan for a couple of weeks as COVID broke out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was there literally the day my flight was scheduled to leave, the day on Monday morning and the Sunday night prior. That's when the cases went from 30 some odd cases in Milan or just in Lombardia to about 400 and some odd cases overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So that was crazy because I was at the airport when it was all going down and everybody was like shocked.
You got here just in the nick of time, or you could have very well stayed in Milan.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because literally I remember the day vividly. We were all in the airport and the TVs were obviously on with the news, and that's when they were reporting everything. And we were like, whoa, things were getting canceled. You know, they were just starting to get canceled. Like the first week I was there, things were happening, or the beginning of the week of Fashion Week, things were happening. And then towards that weekend, chopping left and right, everything was getting canceled. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is serious.
It was like another thing, like Zika or something, and you thought it could be under control, but then no.
Yeah, it just seemed like everything was, flowing. And then, yeah, I remember from Thursday on into the weekend, all the shows started getting canceled, and we were like, wow, okay, wow. I mean, all right, cool. They want to be, all the news would only say things are being canceled out of precaution,
Right.
but then that's that Monday morning, it was like, bang,
It was real. Yeah.
cases were like really
Yeah.
going up.
I know what it is. It's not too many people I act for right away,
Hmm.
but I respect you. You have always been really resourceful, and you get it, and you smart as hell and creative as hell. Like I can't wait. I just really feel like any minute now it's about to be on and popping.
Homie season.
I'm gonna start using it. I'm gonna use it the next time I post it. So, what I wanted to ask you when we were in the IG live, I told you I didn't want to I didn't want to share it because the conversation was so good, and I've pulled and shared Magnus alphas from day one. If I'm not working on a TV show to share it, I'll share it with different designers for their clients. I have to get a package to a really great person. And once that transition goes well, I'll be like, hey, you should check out my guy's stuff. And I think it's going to be well received because, me and the stylist have a good relationship. But I say that to say, how are you feeling about this season? We're in COVID. A lot of things have been revealed. A lot of things are happening. A lot of shifting. A lot of adapting. We're both designers. You're an immigrant, and you put that as a part of your brand with Magnus Alpha. Although it's so dope. So how do you feel about the time where there's a rise in consciousness on supporting our brands and in this time? And the importance of it.
Yeah, I find it as a great responsibility to, step forward with the brand even more so than to feel like, oh, should I step back or should I, call it quits because of the current situation? I feel like it's more of a reason to push forward. And with what I'm doing now is thinking of what are the current events? What's the reality of what we're dealing with, from a designer to a partner with vendors, factories, what have you. Everyone's hurting. It's not like, oh, it's just, one
Everyone
side of.
is hurting. In our industry, yeah, there's some vendors. I told you when I had called and asked you about a couple of resources. I don't think my printer is in business anymore. I don't think the people who I use for dyeing are in business anymore. I think they want to do something, and definitely right now, there's no telling because they were already a small business, right? Yeah. So they were already getting enough quantities to keep things going. So that shutdown, I think, just made them quiet. And some of their vendors, I know, like when I was asking you about another vendor, I think they lost some of the vendors that they use for printing. I think those businesses went out of business. It's a great time for new product, but also even shifting through that for some people. So a lot of people are, taking bites. I said this is definitely a time where you must have some good friends who are on the same frequency as you, and if you're lucky, resourceful while you maneuver through this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a time for good product, but more so conscious product. Product with much more intention. Uh, regards to sustainability and partnership, and being very responsible with how you're making your products, who you're making your products with.
Right.
And those are the things that I'm focusing on right now with the brand, is being very conscious of the environment and the people involved and helping them, so that we can all eat at the end of the day.
I have a question for you. So on Instagram, You know, there's a lot of sites where they are making really cool pieces and they're like $27.99. You get 3 times 4 for 50% off, but they already on sale. And I was sharing this with another designer. They were like, "How do you compete with that? Where are they making this?" And I went, "I don't know. It was $54. Now it's 27. It's not Fashion Nova, but they have these really good ads that keep running, and it's cute. It made me almost wanted to try and buy one to see what was going to happen. What are you thinking? Where's that stuff coming from? Because I'm like, well, I won't buy it because I'm thinking about who's making it and if they're eating and do they have a roof over their head? Because there's no way possible unless a machine is sewing it, a human being cannot be sewing it and actually eating. And the piece is $27.99. So what the fabric is 50 cents, 25 cents, and what are they getting?
Yeah.
What is that? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it could be a variable of things. I mean, that's, that could be a huge factor as to why we're in the situation we're in today with retailers suffering and the amount of waste that's out there. Fashion is one of the biggest pollutants for our environment. So that kind of situation or that offer could be a result of excess inventory. It can be something that's made in China that someone's sitting on, or it could be a pre-order situation, but it doesn't sound like that. So it sounds like they have the inventory, so they just have
Sound
to
like
cut
it's
their
some
losses.
stuff to cut their losses.
Yeah, that's what it brings me back to my what I mentioned earlier is about being conscious and responsible with what you're producing and to consider the environment and to consider the people involved. Like you said, like how are they making money? Who's making money? Is anybody eating? So those are the things that I have in my agenda and in my planning for the brand. And so far, it's been working out, and I feel good about myself because again, I'm helping others and I'm keeping the environment in mind to the
Yep.
best of my ability. As things change. But yeah, that's the only thing I could add to that or think of in that case where they're selling something that was 50 something and now it's 20 something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was like, yeah, because you had educated me on something that I didn't know about. When it's an excess of stock and there's nothing they can do with it, they burn it. I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah. Well, some brands do that, just to avoid devaluing their brand so that their brand doesn't end up on an offer like that, where it used to be something and then now it's something else. So that devalues the brand. And I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but for example, like H&M a couple years back, maybe 2, 3 years ago, they had over $4 billion in excess product just sitting somewhere because they just weren't selling it fast enough through retail. And now retailers are closed, so they definitely don't have a place to sell it. So they have to do these kind of offers where they have to move the product at a much cheaper rate just to get rid of it because they're just sitting on it. That costs money. They're paying for storage somewhere or to ship it around to someone else that wants to buy it. So they have to shuffle it around and get rid of it for pennies on the dollar just so that they can move it. And then it's sitting somewhere else. And then another person comes and gets it and they're like, all right, I can sell it for, you know, 20 something dollars because I paid $10 for it because this company had to offload it. And that there's a business in that. There's a business
I
in
didn't know
what they
that.
call.
It's like creditors.
Yeah, basically it's some call it off price closeout lists. Usually is the term in corporate entities. It's a closeout list. They got to close it out. They got to get it off the books. And a lot of companies have huge closeout lists. I'm talking about huge stuff that they've probably been sitting on for a year or two or three, maybe sometimes more. And
Wow.
there's companies or entities like people that they strive off of that. That's all they do. They're hunting down companies. They're calling. I was like, "What do you have today in your closeout list?" And they're like, "All right, I'll send it over to you right now." And they send it over, and they go through, and they're like, "All right, I'll take X, 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 and X," and they get rid of it. And I'm telling you, they sell it for. This goes for shoes, everything. This goes for electronics. It goes for everything. Closeout lists exist for most lower tier brands. The high end brands burn it because again, they don't want it to
They
end up.
don't want to devalue their brand, so they will, wow, burn
Yeah,
it.
they don't want it to end up in a third market or they don't
And
want
then
it to end
before
up
you know
somewhere.
it, people will be waiting for it and won't pay full price for it. So, well, I can see it devaluing.
Yeah, that yeah that
Affecting the
that's a snowball. It's a snowball effect. Like, oh, I can get Gucci or whatever at a much cheaper price
I can't
somewhere
wait for
else.
it to go to Lomans. I remember saying that. Oh, wait till it goes to Lomans. I remember Gucci because I would shop in Gucci for my client, bought a jacket by next season, or if not, well, a season is within 9 months. Um, that jacket, I couldn't even tell my client because we had spent like 15, maybe 2,500, anywhere between 17 and $2,500 for this really great blazer. I'm in Lomans because you have different clients and you have different, and I do TV shows and you have different things. Saw the blazer, catch this, for $299.
Yeah.
I was like, and it wasn't Gucci, it was Dolce and Gabbana. Not even what my, not even what my discount would have made a difference. I think I used it too, but I was like, whoa, that sucks. Because Lomans is known as, to me at the time, I don't know if any of them are still open, was like the higher end of Marshalls and TJ Maxx, which I love Marshalls and TJ Maxx, but you would find a lot of your designer like pieces that really would be right in there. So I didn't know, I didn't think about it. You just thinking about, oh, there's a bargain. You know what I'm saying? And I also didn't think about, to protect their brand, that they would burn something. I would give it to somebody first, or a woman to go find a job, I would think. But, that's me being conscious. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, things are going to have to change. There's a big business, up until now, there's been a big business for that. Like TJ Maxx and like, Ross and those stores, believe it or not, a lot of the product that they sell is specifically made for them to sell at a certain
I was
price.
wondering that because sometimes in Ross, it's.
Yeah, basically, like for example, I've worked with Ross and TJ Maxx, and in the footwear world at least, and basically anywhere between 80 to 85% of the product that you find there is made for their store,
Oh,
and then the
wow.
rest is closeout. The rest is closeout. The bargains, the stuff that they get, they're kind of a help to the brand. They're like, all right, hey, let's hit up, Ross or TJ Maxx, see if they want this stuff. Yeah, the other stuff is, they actually, it's made for them. The brand makes something with their label on it at a cheaper price, a cheaper
Specifically to sell to them, just.
just to keep their brand, still in the eye, in the consumer's eye. Like, at a first glance, you're not going to be able to call it out, be like, oh, that's not their normal quality for
I have seen that.
Adidas, but it is what it is. And then there's Kohl's, Nike makes stuff just for Kohl's, Puma makes stuff just for Kohl's. So it's very, very, there's tiers. A lot of commercial brands, they have what's called tiers. Tier 0 is like your high-end Nike collabs. So tier 0. Tier 1 is like the really cool stuff. A tier 2 is like a Foot Locker, or well, I would say a tier 1.5, 1.5 is like a Foot Locker. And then you have a tier 3, which is like, a family department store, which I don't know if you guys will know, but there's called like Famous Footwear,
Yes.
a Shoe Carnival. So literally, there's product line managers that make
DSW.
product for all of these tiers. You have, and the product is dissected to hit a cost, a particular price, so that it will sell at a price point that certain demographics can afford. And then you have, your high-end boutiques of the world, your Barneys, rest in peace, that sold Nike, their stuff made for them, stuff like that.
What a lot of people, and they may know, but I want to share this. Homie knows so much information because he has designed. We met two ways, but I was introduced to your work through Palladium. At the time, you were the senior creative designer. But I also know you have worked with K Swiss as, holding the same title. And with having worked at those two brands and now creating Magnus Alpha, amazing footwear, what sets your collection apart from what you had experienced? There may be other companies you work with. I just know those two offhand because, that's kind of my journey with you. But how does Magnus Alpha, for those who don't know, is set apart from those brands that you pretty much curated and created, seasonal looks that made me want to wear Palladium when I wasn't as interested back in the day?
Sure. Well, what sets me apart with now my own brand, Magnus Alpha, is for starters, the K-Swiss stuff and the Palladium stuff was made in China and Vietnam. So that already is a point where it's all Asia made. At Magnus Alpha for me was a personal dream and project. As a Latino, I wanted to create my own stuff eventually. That was the game plan from the very beginning, as long as I can remember. And I decided to make my stuff in Mexico versus going to Europe where all the high-end brands go, or at least the new brands, and then obviously Asia. So I wanted to do something that was meaningful. So as a Latino, I wanted to represent my culture, my community. So I decided to go with Mexico, which most people when they see my shoes, they say, "Oh man, you got those done," and I can see those. You got those done in Europe, and I'll be like, "Nope." They'll be like,
They do. Nope.
they're like, "You didn't get it done in Italy," and I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Portugal," and I'm like, "No," and they're like, "That's definitely not China," and I said, "Nope." They're like, "Where'd you get those made?" I go, "Mexico," and they're like, "What?" They're like, "Nah." I was like, 100%. They're like, "That's incredible."
You would never know. They look amazing.
Yeah, most people be like, I know Mexico makes shoes, but they all make cheap shoes. And I'm like, well, you're wrong. It all depends on the designer. It all depends on how good your tech pack is, your direction. And it all depends on how much you're willing to work with the factory to grow with them and to evolve with them and push them to do the things you dream. That's what a factory's for. You can't put limits on a factory. The limits you put on a factory is just your own imagination of holding yourself back. If they have the machines in Mexico versus the machines in Italy, China, they're not different. They're the same machines. You know what I mean? It's not like, yo, these Italian machines are like futuristic. So basically, it's all about hand craftsmanship and
And the
creativity.
quality, the quality of fabrication and materials you're using. It's like butter. They're beautiful. And I have spent a lot of other people's money on shoes for my men. And so it was really, and they're priced well. I call my collection, I said it's affordable luxury fashion. That's it. And it still is that brick and mortar price. And I feel like when I saw your sneakers, I just knew there was a comma and a one in it. And when you told me the price point, I said, "Oh, these gonna sell like hotcakes." As soon as they get the right buzz, they're gonna sell like hotcakes. And then the jacket and the backpack, and I live for my backpack. I actually look at it like it's in a museum. I don't like to touch it too much. But when I do, this is what I
And that
do.
was sold out, by the way.
I'm sure. I'm very grateful. You're gonna do you have a fanny pack in that color, right?
It's out. Yeah, the fanny pack's available. Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me because when I got it, I look at it and don't want to touch it. But I know the season is coming very soon that when I
Homie
start
season.
wearing it, homie season, once I start to use it, I'm not going to put it down. I go to these things, I'll buy not quality, or have just whatever I just really need or want. And I won't touch it for sometimes like a year. But when I do, people are like, "Where do you get that from?" I'm like, "I've had it for a while." And then all of a sudden I can't put it down for like 9 months. And then like now the color's changing. And I'm like, well, that's what I'm feeling. That's my vibe. But I love that bag. Love it. Um,
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
I love it. Is there anything else that you have popping that we don't know about? I see these virtual runway shows that people are doing right now. What do you think about that? Are you going to do something maybe with the collection? Maybe have just the shoes and the jacket and the backpack walk in? Or is there anything that you can talk about that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ideas like that that run through my mind. Right now, I'm not doing that in the near future. I'm focusing on something that really, speaks to the current situation with, COVID and the circumstances that it's put everyone under. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. And I'm actually working with a factory that's Latino owned and operated for over 30 years, I believe, or more.
In Mexico?
And Hispanic,
In
no,
Mexico?
here in LA,
Oh, wow. That's
here in LA. And I'm specifically partnering with them because it's Latino History Month coming up next month, and Hispanic Heritage Month, as it's coined by the white folk. It's September 15th.
Yeah, you did something last year at the Soho House.
Yeah, so basically what I'm doing is this time around is that this factory that's been decades, several decades old, owned and operated by Latinos. It's been hit hard, obviously, because of COVID. The jobs have slowed down dramatically. The workers have been forced to stay home to, prevent the potential spread of COVID. And so I designed a pair of pants, basically with the metaphor of walking, take a walk in the life of, the other side of the design, process. And basically the pants that I'm creating is going to be obviously manufactured by them, and it's going to be a pre-order only. And it's basically to help them work, because without the work, there's no way they're going to put food on their table. So that's the idea behind it is, hey, the design of the pants compares to a pair of Tom Browns, Tom Brown pants that I'm comparing mine to, because they're very, very similar in the look and feel, the quality. The Tom Browns are almost $1,300. My pair is going to cost, I haven't, finalized the pricing, but it's going to be well under 250.
Well, I need you to go ahead while you're doing that, and I know this is a lot to ask for, but I'm gonna need a pair. I need you to have a couple of unisex pieces, and I know that's a lot to ask, but I just gotta.
They're going to be unisex.
They
They're going to the pants are going to be unisex, and so anyway, so the pants, like I said, they're going to be pre-order only during Hispanic Heritage Month. It's one and done. It's not something I'm going to stock. So it's not like, oh, I'll wait till he produces them, I'll buy them later. It's like, no, it's very specific to this factory. And I want to show the value, what they're getting for their money, and also put the cards on their table to say, hey, this is up to you. Are you going to continue to support a Tom Brown, a high-end luxury brand that's made in Italy,
Or an affordable, high fashion brand by, a Latino designer, especially doing your Heritage Month.
Exactly. So again, I'm Latino. The factory is Latino owned. All the workers are Latino. This is the opportunity. I'm proud to see, the African American culture support Off-White. I'm happy. These are the things that are like that. This is the time for that kind of stuff. But again, Off-White is made in Italy. And their sweatpants are above $500. Just sweatpants. These are high quality. I could actually give you a sneak peek of the pants.
Are these the pants I haven't seen yet? Are these the ones that you were cutting on the cutting table? The navy blue ones with the.
Yeah,
I want those.
They're actually gray.
They're gray. I thought they were navy. Oh, those are everything.
Well, it's called steel blue, so it's like a graphite blue.
Okay, got it.
It's the Mercedes-Benz gray. So I mean the quality in these pants, yeah, the buttons alone are $9.
I just want. First, I'm gonna get a pair of those because I really don't wear anything but OTG essentials, but I do wear my friends' collections that are bomb because I have relationships in the business where these people have amazing pieces, but people don't know about, like, amazing. So, and it vibes with me, but I'm definitely getting a pair of those pants.
Yeah, so you're familiar with the pocket?
Yeah. This is a good time. Oh my God, I'm so ready.
So this is the pocket that's on an MA1 flight jacket, like the bombers.
Uh-huh.
So that's the pocket that's on the shoulder of a bomber.
I'm loving that zipper.
Yeah, the name of that jacket is an MA1, and the name of my brand is Magnus Alpha. So
that's why that's dope.
Why these are the MA1 joggers. And basically, like I said, this is that time. Like, all right, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. He's a Latino designer. He's helping out a Latino-owned factory. This is the time to say, okay, this could be, the Latinos Off-White. You know what I'm saying? But it's made here in the U.S. So again, that's why I'm trying to be super conscious of what I'm doing. I could have easily gone to China and got it for a much cheaper price. Yeah. I could have easily gone to Italy based on all the contacts I have in Italy, but I'm like, why? Let me make it here, or Mexico. But obviously with COVID, I'm making it here.
And you're being intentional and you're keeping a company in business. So that's rewarding in all levels, and I like it. And I'm the same way. I've had people ask me, why don't you know how much you can pay if you have your pieces done in China? Or I was like, I want it done in America, and I want to keep it. I do everything in LA. I was like, but I knew that I was going to have everything done here. I'm like, I'm not into getting something cheap or free. Plus, for me, I wouldn't feel good about paying cheaper for some clothing and I'm not knowing how someone eats. I can't. It just doesn't work for me. And I like the quality that I've been getting. That's dope. And I like that you're being intentional. A lot of people aren't. They just want something either really expensive, not understanding what it took to make it, or they want something really cheap, some disposable fashion. Disposable fashion comes
The
with
spectrum is
a
so out here
cost.
and so out here. It's very little in the middle
Yeah.
of intentional, like, responsibility. I mean, I would be very hurt if, in the position that I'm in today, if that factory were to go out of business. I'd be like, I had the chance to try. I had the chance to try and make something with them to keep their workers employed. But instead, I made a call to China. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say, wow, I messed up.
You're being obedient and you're doing your part. And I really across the board everyone needs to do that. Not just say, well, that's what I want. I'm not telling you not to get what you want, but be intentional right now. Be intentional about the people that you don't see. It's not just about you saying you're making something. It's about people really eating. You know, I want you to do something really cool for me before you leave. I love your shirt, yo. I love this button-down shirt, and I know it has an accessory that comes with it. And I just need you to flex one time for us on the Style Lounge, and let us see what it do.
I bet. So basically, this is a new shirt that I worked on. It clearly has my branding embroidered on it with the offset diamond piece of a contrast flannel. And then inside the sleeve, there's a little something, something.
That's right. I want the shirt just so I could wear it.
You know what I mean?
And then you got that mask with the graffiti writing on it. I love that whole slipping it. That's so dope. Everybody I shared that with, they was like, "That is fire." I was like, "Buy the shirt."
Wait till you see something else I'm working on.
I'm coming to sit and get inspired. Can I wear that shirt like a dress, like with some jeans, like wear, how you take men's shirts and maybe like a short dress, maybe with some leggings? I gotta do that.
Actually, you can, because I made this as a Colombian fit, which is really long.
Oh.
It's a really long shirt. So, instead of it coming to right by your pocket, your side pockets, it's actually on your thigh. So like it comes down really low.
That's what I want to do because I really love it, and you've been rocking it really well. And if I can't get something in women's, I can make something in men's work for me. So, with that being said, there's a few questions I want to ask you. One, I kind of know the answer because you are a entrepreneur, a dad, a designer, and a humanitarian, and being conscious about everything. But I want to know, how are you living? And I do this thing called How You Living. And how you living is kind of, the stylist in me, how you wearing, how you maneuvering through life and, in your skin and in your clothes. So I want to know how you living when you are with your wife and kids and at home, like what you wearing.
Yeah, so that actually is interesting. It kind of segues and comes right back to where we just were a few minutes ago. Uh, how I'm living is trying to live as comfortable as possible. And that was what gave birth to these pair of pants. Basically, the pants are made out of flight satin. So they're super lightweight, just like a bomber jacket, extremely comfortable and stain resistant and like water repellent. And I needed something with this new normal. I needed something to transition out of bed and still be able to get on a Zoom call, live,
and be fly.
and not have to change, and I needed that sleepwear comfort with that going outside look.
Right.
And that's why I designed the pants. I designed the pants based off of that criteria. It's like, all right, I need to be able to feel like I'm home and I don't feel like I'm wearing jeans on my couch or in my bed. But at the same time, I don't want to look like I'm wearing pajamas all day being a bum.
Right,
Like no
right.
job. I don't want to feel like I don't have a job and I'm stuck at home. I want to feel like I'm
I want to
working,
feel
I'm
like I
creating.
put in some effort, but I'm comfortable and I can still present myself to a Zoom or to the world and run out the door, but I'm still in comfort.
And yep. And I don't have to change to go into bed or vice
What
versa.
he telling you guys, what he wear when he chilling with the family is his new jogger that you guys will be able to pre-order very soon. next month. Okay, so how you living when you are out and about designing? Some designers are not in their pieces; they're schwepping. They're even all black. How are you living when you out creating and designing? What you rocking?
When I'm out creating a design, it's either between test fitting what I have, so like my shirt, making sure the mask fits and everything, my pants, making sure they fit right. I designed the pants with a gusset in the crotch, so you could really feel like unrestricted. Like, unfortunately, the Tom Browns are beautiful, but it's like you're wearing dress pants, and you feel like you're gonna tear them if you stretch too far out or you trying to kick somebody out the way. But so I'm test fitting all my stuff, my shoes, and then if not, then I'm wearing my friends' stuff too. I'm trying to support them and keep their business alive. It's for me, it's not a competition against other brands. It's a competition about being conscious and responsible. How challenge yourself to be responsible and thoughtful, not challenge yourself in how do you better your become better than your opponent to knock them out. And that's kind of what Magnus Alpha is about. It's about Magnus Alpha means great dominance in Latin. And it's about having great dominance of your identity. And that's the mantra I live by. Having, great dominance of my identity is the goal, is the challenge, is the focus, no one else. Well, hey, I'm going to support other people at the same time because there's enough for all of us out here to just survive and even get on, move forward.
That's right. Okay, so again, you guys, you see, again, everything he do is in Magnus Alpha because he's wearing his own stuff, but that's how he living. Last question. When you are going out to do something cool with your wife and y'all get dressed up to go somewhere, or just a date, past the movies, how you living?
Depends on the weather. I mean, if it's winter season, I love being bundled up. I'm a New Yorker. It's built in me to be bundled up. A cardigan, a real thick cardigan, sweater with a nice button down underneath. A nice comfortable pair of pants that are stylish. Obviously, something that I've designed footwear wise because I've been in the industry so long that I have no other choice but to keep wearing what I make because I've made so much stuff. Not because I'm being like
No, no,
all about
no.
me. It's just
Yeah.
because I have made so much stuff that I'm like 90% of my footwear is stuff that I made, and then the other 10% is stuff that I like or that a friend's brand, stuff like that. But I've just been spoiled to wear footwear wise what I've worked on because I've worked on so much. And then in terms of clothes, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of brands I love and covet and always support. And then moving forward, there's going to be a lot more stuff that I'm making that I'm going to make for the occasion of going out with my wife, to a nice place, stuff like that.
So no, I just wanted to know because I know how I see you all the time, and you always fly. Your footwear is always dope, but I'm like, what do he wear when he like being fancy? So again, guys, pretty much he only wears Magnus Alpha. None of us ain't going nowhere, so he'll be in Magnus Alpha even more. And then when he decides to go out more, you may end up with a big, thick, bundle up cardigan sweater by Magnus Alpha, which I know is going to be fly. Make it long enough so I can wear it though, like a dress, and put some boots on. There I go. With that being said, is there anything that you want to let us know you have going on?
Yeah, so in terms of Magnus Alpha for fall 2020, it's focused on pieces with intention that are solution based for the current time we're living in. So there's going to be a lot more clever designs that are going to be um, you know, utilitarian to some degree, fashion, of course. But again, everything's gonna have a purpose. So I got a handful of things that I'm working on that I'm excited
You'll
about.
tell me the
Everything's gonna
secrets.
be in very low quantities, pre-order only.
That's what I'm doing. I started doing pre-orders, very low quantities. I was like, I have to pivot in this, and it's been great. But yeah, that's been my pivot. So it makes me feel good to know like you're doing the same thing. I'm like, oh, okay, it's working. All right, so how can the people that don't already know you find you on the Style Lounge?
On Instagram for sure, Hommy Diaz. It's HOMMY DIAZ all together. The brand is also on Instagram as Magnus.alpha. And in terms of the website, it's just magnusalpha.com. All the other socials, you can find me by my full name.
Homie Diaz at Homie Diaz. It's homie season. Oh, I'm about to put that on everything. I love it. It's homie season. Thank you again. This has been dope, and I will see you soon.
It's my pleasure.
All right, peace.